welcome. I'd like to say hello to Helen Addis of the C List.
Hello.
Hi, Helen.
Oh, hello. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. Very welcome. We're actually really excited because, Helen, you have been on quite a journey, let's call it journey, and until we find another word. Tell us a little bit about your story.
Yeah, so it was coming up 3 years ago, actually. I was getting ready for work one morning, and I'm a features editor for ITV Lorraine, so it was about 4:30 in the morning that I was having a shower, jumped out, and I was putting my moisturiser on, and I found a lump on my boob. And I wasn't worried because I thought, I'm 39, so I'm pretty young in, relatively for something like breast cancer. I don't have any family history of cancer at all, actually, in our family, let alone breast cancer. Relatively fit and well, don't drink that much. So I wasn't too worried about it, but I did book an appointment to see my GP just to get it checked out. And it was funny, actually, because that day that I went into work, we had a guest on our show who had bowel cancer. And she was saying, if you have anything unusual happen with your body, make sure you get it checked out. If you're bleeding somewhere, or if you've got any lumps and bumps. And I thought, oh yeah, I must make sure I must call the GP. And I did. And I went up to the GP, who agreed with me it's most likely to be hormonal. And then she said, but let's just refer you to see a consultant. Sorry, there's a lorry just driving past. And 2 weeks later, I saw my consultant, and in those 2 weeks, another 4 lumps had grown. So I thought, well, jackpot, like cancer doesn't do that. It must be hormonal, which will probably explain why I was like an absolute bitch at home as well, because I was just like, maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was just my hormones. So it turns out it was actually just me, and that I had grade 3 invasive breast cancer. And as you know yourself, Caroline, there's no grade 4. Like grade 3 is the most aggressive that you can get, which means that mine wanted to travel. And it was the week before my 40th birthday, and my to-do list at the time would be like, how much gin do I need to order for my party, who's going to have the kids when everybody comes over. And all of a sudden that was out the window, and it was, right, instead of that next week, you are going in for a mastectomy, 60 rounds of chemo, 50 rounds of radio, targeted hormone therapy for 17 weeks. And yeah, happy days, and then I didn't have time for it either, a mum of 3 small kids at the time, and it was just crackers. So that was my story. So I finished treatment last October. I had quite a long run of treatment because mine was hormone positive as well, so there were extra things which thankfully they could throw at me, but it just meant that your body takes a longer battering because there's more medicine to throw.
Had you a lot of support from family and friends? Obviously your kids are really young, Helen. What happened there?
Well, it was interesting, actually. So I wasn't sure how to tell them, and I remember coming home from the hospital that day, and a friend was looking after them, and me and my husband walked in, and they were bitching to my friend about the homemade curry that I had made for them. And I walked in and I thought, God, they've got no idea. Like, if all they're worrying about is the taste of my curry, and they're still bitching about it. I wonder if I told them I've now got cancer, they're going to start behaving. And actually, no, they didn't suddenly start behaving. I sat them down and I said, look, how you sometimes get a verruca on your foot. I don't know why. Don't judge me. For some reason, my kids keep getting verrucas. But you get a verruca, and we have to put that special cream on it. I said, well, Mummy's got a lump just like that. It's on her boob. And if the doctor doesn't take it away, it's going to get big, and then it's going to hurt. So I've got to have lots and lots of special medicine, and then it'll be fine. And my 5-year-old was a bit like, can I see it? Can I see it? And she was just like, and then like, can I go off and watch Paw Patrol? I was like, yeah, fine. And my eldest was like, is it cancer? And he was 9, and I had no idea a 9-year-old knew, because we don't have cancer in the family. I was like, what do you know about cancer? And he says, I know it kills people. And that's from seeing adverts on telly and stuff.
Yeah.
And then, so it was a funny journey, and it was a few days later, or maybe about a week later, I noticed that my eldest, he had our family laptop up in his bedroom. He's not normally allowed to take it up there. And I was thinking, why has he done that? And I looked at the Google history, and he had Googled what will happen the week before my mum dies of breast cancer. And I was just like,
oh my God.
Oh my God. I know. Talk about like, yeah. So it was a real turning point then for us, because it just meant that everything that I was doing, any appointments, I stopped hiding stuff from them, and cancer became very much part of our our day-to-day conversation, and that mummy's going to go and do this, mummy's not feeling very well today, so I'm going to go and have a sleep, or so I was, and that seemed to really help. And it was quite funny actually, because my 5-year-old, one day I was clearing out her book bag after school, and she had put my prosthetic boob in her bag. It turns out she'd taken it to school for her show and tell.
Oh my gosh.
I was absolutely mortified that it's probably been passed around loads of like grubby, like snotty fingers, and two, like who wants to see my Can you
imagine what they said when they went home to their own parents?
Yes. yeah. Belle brought her mum's boob in today.
Yeah. Today I saw her.
Honestly.
Oh,
but to her, in her mind, she almost didn't remember me without it. So she was just like, "What does it matter?" kind of thing. Like, no.
That's such. It's funny because obviously, now with everything that you've done, especially you mentioned Lorraine with the Change and Check campaign, all of that awareness that you're doing, it must now become such a normal part of your life, is talking about cancer.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. And I remember when I was diagnosed, there was another woman, same age as me, same diagnosis, but she hadn't gone to the GP straight away, and she had called it her dirty little secret that she had this thing, and she kept putting it off. And when I met her, she had the diagnosis at the same time as me, but hers was way more advanced because she had left it. And so her treatment plan was nowhere near as attractive as mine. And she's on palliative care now, and it's just like, it just makes me think, God, if it can happen to me and her, it can happen to anybody. So I became just almost a bit weirdly hell-bent on just like anybody I'd meet would be like, you do check yourself. Yeah, you just want to get the message out there. And I know that lots of people say, oh, but breast cancer gets such a lot of attention, but people are still dying from it. And it's still the most common diagnosed cancer in women, but it's so treatable if you catch it early, So I came up with a Change and Check campaign, which is really simple. It's just a reminder sticker that goes on shop changing room mirrors, and it says in the time it takes for you to try that top on, you could check yourself for signs of breast cancer. And loads of our retailers took it on, and I started that 18 months ago, and I've had 48 women contact me now to say that they saw a sticker, checked themselves, and they've caught their cancer early.
So tell us then a little bit about the C list.
So C list came about, and I don't know whether it was the same for you, Caroline, but when I was going through treatment, I was told, like, you're going to lose a boob, going to lose your hair, you might lose fingernails, and you're going to need to rethink your makeup bag and bathroom, your products in your bathroom cabinet, because your skin's going to get very sensitive. So I was like, oh my God, kick a girl when she's down. If there's a time that I needed my wall paint the most, was when I was, going through the eye of the storm of bloody cancer. And I remember I went down to my high street just to get some shampoo, and I said to the woman in there, oh, I'm about to go on chemo, do you know if I can use this shampoo? She was like, oh, I don't know, let's ask the manager. So we went over to the manager, and bear in mind, I had my 3 kids with me. She was like, this woman's got cancer, do you know if she could? And I thought, I'm not an alien, okay? And it was well-meaned and well-intended. I know that she was genuinely trying to help me, but if you're vegan. 1 in 100 people in this country are vegan, and there's aisles and products and all sorts of stuff. Oh my God, they know exactly where, you know exactly where to go to buy your vegan products. Brilliant. 1 in 2 people get cancer in their lifetime, and it's all like this, that's the best with cancer. And I just didn't want to feel, a bit like how your business came about, I just didn't want people to feel like they were any more alien than they were already being made to feel, you know, because of the fact that they had cancer. So my plan was literally to come up with a list of products that I was going to put on, post on Instagram and say, look, these are the products that, you know, the brands give a thumbs up to, and or they've been recommended by other cancer patients. But the more I spoke about it, the bigger it kind of got, and the more of an issue I realized it was. So I turned it into a website. I'm sort of billing it as like the Goop, but for the cancer world without the fanny candles.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of the that's kind of the idea. Is that like there's tips and tricks on there, and how to tie a headscarf, how I told my kids. There's gonna, you know, so I'm uploading new stuff all the time. So but ultimately, yeah, there's products on there that you can buy, and then the profits that I get from that I use to gift a cancer patient each month, which, oh my God, it's like if you've ever been given a pay rise at work, like a tiny pay rise, and you're like, yay, that's brilliant. Nothing beats the feeling of calling up somebody, like I did with the first woman that won last month, Jane, her name was, and she's halfway through bowel cancer treatment. And I was like, right, I've got a whole bunch of beauty products coming your way. And she was like, she was just beside herself. And I was like, my God, I feel like I've just had the biggest bonus in my life.
Yeah.
So it was lovely. It was really lovely.
You've done this with Lisa Potter Dixon, who's a makeup artist.
Yes.
Is she?
Yeah,
really
she's phenomenal. Yeah. So it was actually with Lisa that I was having we were doing an Instagram live together, and I was telling her my story about finding it difficult to find the products, and then she was like, let's do this, we can do it. And she's so well connected in the beauty industry, so she so we started working on it together, and she's brilliant. I've worked with her for a long time now. She does lots of stuff on the Lorraine show with me as well. So,
and like you know, when you said that it's really nice to go onto a website that doesn't look, it's not kind of like cancer filled, you know, it's uplifting.
Yeah.
Looks like it's diverse and it's inclusive, and it's just such a nice,
it's not medical
place.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not medical and not clinical. And when I was going through treatment, on the days that I didn't have to be in hospital, the last place I wanted to be was in hospital, you know, and be
exactly. And I think that, like, you know, for girls and ladies who are going through their cancer or whatever, like, there is life after, and it's bloody awesome. And so I think sites like yours, you know, LoveRose, and like what we're trying to do, same thing. And that's why we wanted to, like, let all our community know about you if they don't already know about you.
Thank you.
All on our website and
and actually it's about mental well-being as well when you're going through this thing, and the difference that it makes. I know that if I put nice underwear on, I feel so much better from the inside when I'm going out. And it's like beauty products, you know, if you feel like you look semi-decent, you know, you're ready to take on the world a lot more. So it was very much on the same sort of
it's like
trajectory.
Well, but, like, you know, for self-care is just so important. And for me, like, that is about taking some time out, having a lovely bath, you know, using some really nice kind of like oils and moisturizers that are good for my skin, you know, and taking care of myself. That's just so important. And
it's such a shame, when you then go through something like chemotherapy and things like that, like you say, like your makeup bag and things you would normally go to aren't there anymore. And it's just amazing that you guys have there's this beautiful resource where people can come and
it's tried and tested.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
No, it's amazing.
It's a brilliant initiative, and Helen, it's been an
Thank you.
joy to speak to you.
Thank you.
On our resource section, and anyone watching this video also go and watch all of Helen's videos on the Titty Gritty.
Yeah, that's
my like go-to evening watching. They're just like so.
Oh, thank you.
Like,
is it bad that my kids call me Titty as well now? It's really bad. Like you can't call me that, guys. Like in a supermarket or something. Don't call me Titty. I'm mummy. Oh, thank you so much for having me on. It's wonderful what you're doing as well.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Okay, all the best. Thank you. Bye.